Ebola.
Good morning, Oyo States. Welcome to another exciting episode of the AM120 this morning. I trust your morning is beautiful. And my name is Florence Cheryl. Welcome once again to the program.
All right, of course, how we do it on this program, we start with stories that made the headline, after which we'll take you through the weather report, quotes for the day, the interview segment, and of course, we'll wrap it up with sport update. And I'll begin from here, the Nigerian Tribune newspaper of this morning. I'll take you through some of the stories that made the headline. The front page, the major story there says, Obi Kwakwanso join NDC. Why I left ADC, ex-LP presidential candidate. ADC releases timetable for primary elections, peg presidential form 200 million. Presidential governorship candidates to emerge through consensus, direct options. The story is on page 24 and 25. On page 27, gunmen kidnapped 60-year-old man in Ibadan. Article to discuss Nigeria's security situation during U.S. visit. Strike. We stand with SANU, NASU. That's according to ASU. The story is on page 4. On page 2, Jigawa Kano Castina top list of out-of-school children. The story is on page 2. Nigeria sees mixed effects as Iran's peace move calm oil markets. The story is on page 6. You have CPPE, LCCI call for reform to ease burden of power crisis. The story is on page 7. Still staying with page 7. Outrage as commercial motorists rip commuters off despite CNG use. On page 25, Makinde back, PDP moves to name caretaker committee today. Drums reconciliation invites INEC to NEC meeting. Wabara led BOT insists party won't die. All right, we'll take some other inside stories for this morning. On page 2, we have the story 2027. LP pegs presidential form at 50 million naira. Releases timetable Governor Oti to get free forms. Okay, article to discuss deterioration of security during U.S. visit. You also have on page 3, groups donate 1 billion naira, 27 campaign buses. Oh, all right, that's some political stories there. Women with high number of childbirth less prone to stroke. That's according to studies. NRC condemns repeated attack on Abuja Kaduna train. You also have the story 2026 Hajj Tinubu administration remains resolute to uphold Nigeria's dignity. Shetima flags of airlift operations. We also come this way on page 4. I have no rift with Umahi, says Unwifuru. Nigeria ramps up outbreak response with major upgrade to Ibadan Polio Laboratory. On page 5, Serap NGE urged Tinubu governors to protect journalists, ending security impunity. We will keep strengthening security to sustain economic growth. That's coming from Makinde. Expert advocate reform innovation for improved governance. Traditional chief drags on the government to court over regency's tool. Oyo Accord Party gubernatorial candidate promises to focus on security, launches insecurity coverage for local hunters. All right, on page 6, we have the stories there. Nigerians grown as price of cooking gas surged to average 1,400 kilogram. All right, Nigeria sees mixed effect as Iran's peace move calms oil market. All right, we'll go to some other stories there on the opinion page. Why Nigeria's de-radicalization policy needs a review. All right, we'll come to some other pages there for this morning, advertorials there, and then we'll go towards the back page. We come to page 24. And on page 24, you have other stories, political stories. You have there why Kwara APC elders are backing Bolari's governorship bid. And of course, your APC aspirant once again imposed consensus calls for inclusive process. The story is on page 24. And Electoral Act sounds, but judiciary interference undermines implementation. That's coming from Olatunji, a senior advocate of Nigeria. All right, you also have the story there. PSC dismisses ASP, others over extrajudicial killing in Delta. Gunmen kidnap 60-year-old man in Ibadan. NDLEA arrests 83-year-old, 78-year-old man for alleged drug trafficking. Why education takes lion's share of Kano's budget, that's according to the commissioner. And of course, rector charges alumni on giving back to alma mater. Ibadan frontline elite celebrates Stegbe ministerial nomination. Of marking their democracy and posterity, that's on the opinion page. I'll come to page 30, environment. Ogufas becoming destination for end-of-life electrical and electronics equipment, says Abiodun. Osun West Monarch hails Tinubu Yetola over 90.9-kilometer Oshogbo Iwo Ibadan road approval. Obowere extol a Centurion Esther Ahon celebrates her virtue, enduring legacy. A writer Mayday tragedy, NLC task Kwara government on burial of late injured unionist. All right, you also have an abandoned baby story there. And of course, those are the stories. But for the sports story there, you have sports relays. Team Nigeria bags 3 Beijing 2027 tickets. And that's as much as we take it this morning from the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Over to you.
Yes, I have with me the Nation newspaper. Trending on the front page, Obi Kwakwanso joins NDC. Nestor's bad loans halt commercial banks' dividend payments as banking sector stability threatened. Now we're moving into the stories on the inside of the nation. This morning, Nigeria's economy rebounds strongly report shows. Obi Kwakwanso orders join NDC, and this is on page 2 of the Nation newspaper this morning. On page 4, we have NDC LP fix May 25th, 29 for presidential primaries. Still on page 4, Nestor's bad loans halt commercial banks' dividend payments as banking sector stability threatened. Moving on to page 8, we have UBA dismisses false publication on Elumelu's marriage. Governors weigh options for states' policies financing. ACF debunks leadership change claims, affirms stability. Tinubu strengthen investors' confidence with MMA2 resolutions, says ICRC DG. Still on page 8, Kano Maradi Rails project, 60% ready. Upholds Nigeria values, Shetima tells pilgrims. Still on the Nation, moving on. We have on page, still going through, we have on page 20, 1 trillion record profit signals new value creation phase, says Access Holding. This is on the business part of the Nation this morning. Guarantee Trust records 303 billion profits in 3 months. Wema Bank eyes new growth phase as 81st anniversary. Moving on from the business part of the Nations this morning, we have on page 24, Sanwo-Olu's energy giant steps powering a mega city for the future. Adedeji's vision for smarter revenue and stronger institution, and that's on page 4 of the paper this morning. Moving on, we have on page 32, court dismisses 7.1 billion naira suit against bank, awards costs. Tinubu Amzat gets backing. Still on page 32, equity strategy and shared victory in Kwara South. Expert advise firms to invest in human capital. On page 33, we have media centers seeks protection of journalists. Senator joins a Labour Party. Still on page 33, we have online doctorate and AI targets demand for tech leadership in Africa. On page 36, we have senatorial primary. Ekiti North seeks a breath of fresh air. Ondo State race, can APC afford to sideline core Yoruba voters? Gombe APC leaders settle for Gwamba as consensus governorship candidate.
All right, quickly, let's just quickly.
On the commercial. Be right back.
Let's take some commercial.
Super Multivitamin Active Teens. Super Malt Multivitamin Active Teens. Shine on.
Cadbury 3-in-1 hot chocolate, the treat you deserve.
Welcome back. It's still AM120, and right now we are taking the newspaper review. On page 34 of the Nations this morning, we have Navy hits oil thieves destroy illegal refinery site in Rivers State, Bayelsa. Police confirms Delta killer cops dismissal. Still on page 34, NDLEA make arrest for drug trafficking in Abia, Ekiti. 3 die, 1 injured in Lagos-Ibadan Expressway crash. Still on page 34, kidnappers kill Edo businessman few hours to son's dedication. Lagos shuts buildings, others over non-compliance with lift safety regulation. On page 35, we have how Oyetola facilitated road rehabilitation approval by Oluwo. Lawal steps down for Eshinlokun. On page 35, we have Governor Okpebolo moves to settle rifts between Osiomo Power, Chinese partners. Still on page 35, APC leaders adopt Lagos majority leader as consensus candidate. On page 36, we have Ondo State race. Can APC afford to sideline core Yoruba voters? Senatorial primary, Ekiti North 6, a breath of fresh air. On page 37, Gombe APC leaders settle for Guama as consensus governorship candidate. Okay, let's go to the sports segment and take a couple of stories before we go for the weather report. Impressive team Nigeria claimed 3 world relay sports in Gambrono. Super sub Einacho excited after firing Celtic to Scottish summit. Mark predicts markdown Flyers brighter future after Barcelona sets back. And that is all we have on the Nation this morning. So very quickly, we would go for the...
Of course, let's go through the weather report, and then we'll go through the interview segment. Our guests will be joining us shortly. Don't go away. Stay with us.
When malaria knocks you down, you can be sure parasites are having a party in your system.
Welcome to our new kingdom, guys!
Comel, an effective weapon against malaria. Attacking the parasite army directly to give you express relief and get you back on your feet effectively. Comel on. Malaria gone.
All right, welcome back. It's still AM120 on the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. All right, we're in the interview segments now, and we'll be looking at what we call Supreme Court verdicts and APC PDP crisis. That's what we're looking at this morning. And to do justice to the conversation, we have Barrister Mr. Adebimpe Adelo. I'm just surprised you'll be wondering what's wrong this morning. Esquire is the publicity secretary of ADC Oyo State. You're welcome to the program.
It's a pleasure to be here. Good morning, and our viewers at home.
Yes, and basically we'll be looking at the issue of PDP and APC, of course, Supreme Court judgment. And a lot has been said regarding this judgment, a lot of right or wrong interpretations. But before we go there, on May 1st, 2026, the Supreme Court of Nigeria delivered two major judgments impacting opposition parties. It's restored the David Mark National Working Committee of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, by setting aside a status quo antebellum order. Conversely, it nullified the PDP's November 2025 Ibadan Convention, invalidating the Tanimu Turaki-led leadership faction. That was what the judgment, just summarizing the judgment. Looking at it, how would you describe this judgment? Not just as the secretary of ADC in your state, but as a legal expert as well.
First of all, this is what is expected of a court of law to be doing, at least to set the record straight, so that we can internalize our democratic tenets within our political parties and within our society. We can see that the judgment of the Supreme Court has restored democratic order within the political party, and that is so sacrosanct. First, let me take it from issue of ADC. We can see that Supreme Court faulted the Court of Appeal order of status quo antebellum, not all other things. That's alone. And in the reasons of the Supreme Court, that all the actions that have been completed, there is nothing to stop. The actions that have not been completed, yes, you can restrain the other parties not to do anything to affect or to render, to undermine the court's pronouncement. In this instance, David Mark and others, they have been appointed as chairman and whatever of the party. So there is nothing to stop again. Rather, you have to, at least, you don't need to preserve, there is nothing like a preservatory order in this instance. What you need to do is to return the party back to the Federal High Court, and which one of the order gave by the Court of Appeal. The same thing Supreme Court also established, that the party should go back to Federal High Court. And we can see that the judgment of the Supreme Court is fair enough, at least to all the parties. The party that's seeking to appeal what have you, or a party that is trying to quash the order of Court of Appeal. And you can see that the Supreme Court gave individual what they deserve in the instance. Coming to issue of PDP, I say that Supreme Court restored democratic order. One of the pillar of democracy is the rule of law, ability for individual at least to obey the court ruling. At the trial court made an order restraining PDP or whatever factions not to go ahead with a particular process, which is conventions and so on, all the likes, because a member has been wronged in that regard. And the Supreme Court said, now, if you fail to understand if you fail to obey, to comply with the court order, definitely all other things you do, that has rendered it invalid. Because first of all, you have to obey court order before you can come back to court, whether that order of the court is genuine or not. The first thing is to comply. But they failed to comply and they went ahead. Now, in that order, Supreme Court has given us another hope that things has to be done in a proper manner. And that is what we see in both judgment.
Okay, all right. So the Supreme Court has told them to remain status quo ante bellum.
There is nothing like that. The Supreme Court removed that status quo for ADC. The Supreme Court removed the status quo ante bellum so that it will help ADC to continue to have a leadership. Because when INEC that's supposed to seek more interpretations about what status quo ante bellum is, ordinarily, there is nothing that's supposed to affect the leadership of ADC, even with that pronouncement of status quo ante bellum. Because, meaning that you remain the same position before you approach court. And what is the position before you approach court is that David Mark and others have been appointed to fill various positions. So, but because of misinterpretations of that order, then Supreme Court has to remove that order so that it will give ADC opportunity to have leadership that pilot its affairs.
Okay, so let's look at ADC, your party. Are you saying now that the development, making David Mark and his team still the leaders of the party, is a welcome development?
It's a welcome development.
Why?
It's a welcome development in the sense that there is court should not intervene in any internal leadership issues. There are other internal affairs of the party that courts needs to look at. One of it is when you are talking about the right of individual, because that is why we have court. We don't normally, a lot of grievances will be within one association or the other group. And that is why we have courts that can intervene at any point. But when it comes to issue of who appoints who within the political party, it is not justiciable. It's not within the jurisdictions of the court. So, in that order, it's not even that the court restored David Mark and others back to power. The court only activates what has been in existence.
By the members of the party?
By the members of the party.
Okay, let's look at the judgment of the Supreme Court for the PDP. Whether we like it or not, both ADC and PDP are major opposition parties in Nigeria today. Now, how would you describe that judgment? And let me begin with the judgment. What's your take on the judgment for the PDP?
Well, the PDP judgment is very sound in law anyway, because one thing that we ought to know, that no matter how highly placed you are, you have to submit yourself to the order of the court is very important. That is the court of the land. Whatever court says, whether wrong or not, whether wrong or right, first of all, you have to comply with. And that is one thing I see from that judgment. Now, another thing I want to say is that the Supreme Court judgment only nullifies the conventions. The Supreme Court has not recognized any leadership. And that is so important to underline.
Why did the Supreme Court choose not to, align with any of the leadership?
It didn't align with any leadership. It only aligned with the procedure and policies of PDP. And it's so simple. You ought not to done this, and you have done it in contravention with a court-to-court verdict. Then all you have done is invalid. Go back and do the right thing. It's so simple.
Now, looking at the right thing you have said, what is that right thing?
The right thing is, if a member is excluded, because if you call yourself a member of a political party, you have all the rights, provided even under your constitution. Also, provided by the Electoral Act and Constitutions of Federal Republic of Nigeria. So if you have that right and somebody is trampling on that right, you have right to go to court, to approach court, so that court will, you seek protections of the court. And that is what Sule Lamido have done. And some other guys, you know that there are two different cases. Sule Lamido and the one instituted by members of the PDP from the Southeast region, complaining about the manner in which the Congress is being conducted. And those are the two.
And one talked about failure of the convention committee to inform every state that there will be convention.
There will be convention. And that,
information.
Due information, and then exclusions of some other members that they have that right under the constitutions of the PDP. And the Supreme Court has done so well in order to tell them that, no, this is your constitution. You must follow that constitution you yourself subscribe to.
So from what you said, misinterpretation by INEC, are we, because people have been speculating, are we actually going to call it a misinterpretation or them taking sides? And looking at the election that is coming, can we actually trust their judgment?
You are referring to issues of ADC, because that is where INEC goof, because that is, initially we saw it as biased interpretation. That is, INEC is only speaking the voice of ruling party, because there is nothing concerned INEC with what the court is saying. Court didn't pronounce and that David Mark should step aside from his position. Status quo antebellum is so simple. Go back to position before you approach the court. If INEC could not have a better interpretation, I think they should summon that courage to approach court again to seek more interpretation and clarification to that. But they fail. And their failure alone has shown to the public that INEC is taking side. Knowing well that ADC has become a major opposition party in Nigeria.
That's an assumption.
It's not an assumption.
What makes you think that ADC has suddenly become a major opposition party?
This is it. When you want to know the major opposition, you go to the legislative arm of government. Who has majority there? As it is today, ADC has majority over all other political parties, apart from the ruling party. So they constitute the major opposition. And by numbers, we can say ADC is just a major opposition.
Okay,
looking at that.
Having said that, let's quickly look at some school of thought that feels that there's ambiguity in the judgment of the Supreme Court. We've had Supreme Court judgments in this country that has maybe as ambiguous as what we had last week. Why did we have such, the Supreme Court could have been so simple in their judgment that even a layman should understand. Why the ambiguity?
The ambiguity many people refer to is as true. People don't understand the facts before the Supreme Court. Only what you bring before the court is what the court will sit on. Two things. It's very simple. All the litigants approach the court. For what? The determinations of certain rights. You excluded me from the process of elections, electing the officers of the party. And I have right to approach the court. And the other party felt that, the trial court has not done well. They've made a wrong judgment. Then they approach based on that fact before the trial court. So it's not about leadership disputes. It's about the rights of individual within the political party, and that is what we have before the Supreme Court. So it will be very wrong for the Supreme Court to pronounce that these factions or the other factions is recognized. So there is no ambiguity in Supreme Court judgment. It's very simple. So whatever you bring before the court, is that what court will pronounce
Let's
on?
quickly look at what was taken to the court. The PDP Ibadan Convention case, a faction led by Tamino Turaki, SAN, appealed a court of appeal decision that nullified the convention.
Yes.
The Supreme Court, in a 3-2 split decision, upheld the lower court's ruling, agreeing that the convention in Ibadan was held in defiance of a substituting Federal High Court. ADC leadership crisis case. Senator David Mark's leadership of the ADC challenged an Abuja High Court of Appeal ruling that had dismissed their appeal for not obtaining the required leave of court to challenge a decision of the trial court. The Supreme Court ruled in their favor, setting aside the Court of Appeal order for a status quo antebellum, reverting to the previous state, which effectively restated the David Mark-led leadership. Those were the two things taken to the court. Now, I'm beginning to get scared that for everywhere you turn to, you find people in your sector, the legal profession everywhere. They are the ones you also find in political parties.
Yes.
They are the ones who are the judges. They are the ones who are the party leaders. Why is the legal profession taking over the country?
The legal profession is not taking over the country.
I mean,
because
you're saying that the political party wants it to be a one-party system. I was beginning to see that even your sector is seem to be at it.
No. You see, one has to be master of his game. I could see flaw in some of the proceedings filed, or the suits filed by certain individual before the court. People don't ask right question before the court, and that is what happened. In the case of ADC, let me analyze it. It's so simple. Procedurally, when you approach a court, at least High Court, the High Court, the matter you bring before the High Court. In that Federal High Court, the High Court asks Balagombe to put David Mark-led NWC on notice. And it's so simple. Balagombe approached court for ex parte to restrain David Mark. The same prayer in the ex parte is the same prayer we have in the originating summons. Then why do you have to do that? The next thing for the court to do is to put the other party on notice. Now, rather than for David Mark-led NWC to accept that and to come to the court and maybe they file preliminary objection, the matter has not even been opened at the Federal High Court. They jump to Court of Appeal. Then what Court of Appeal want to do? There is no case before the Court of Appeal.
Because the matter had not started.
Has not started at all.
And the ex parte order.
Ex parte order, the court ruled against it. So they are not disadvantaged. The next thing for them is to come and show cause before the Federal High Court and then file their preliminary objection.
What's the implication if they go back to the Federal High Court now?
The implication is you file your preliminary objection, challenge the jurisdictions of the court.
So are you saying that the Federal High Court does not have jurisdiction to hear that case?
Because it's a leadership issue,
Yes.
dispute within the political party. The Supreme Court has established that. Even there are plethora of cases and judgment regarding that anything that bothers on the leadership of the party is internal affairs.
So it should be resolved internally.
It should be resolved internally. It's not judiciable. Court should not intervene in that.
So we can easily say everybody understood, but they still tried to boycott.
We don't understand the reason they are going that route. Because in the normal settings, that is why at the Court of Appeal, the Court of Appeal needs to fine David Mark 2 million naira for abuse of court process. The matter has not been opened. It's not that court has refused to hear your preliminary objection challenging the jurisdictions of the court. No. You have not even submit yourself before the court. What is appeal all about? You only appeal the decision of court. The court has not made any decision at all. So I don't know reason. Maybe some of the aides, some of the people that ought to know, maybe they've already ignored such. They want to follow another route, and which is very bad for our democracy.
Okay, quite unfortunate. It seems like our politicians prefer to always approach the court rather than allowing things to work normally, working peaceably amongst one another. Why is it that, and even the courts, they don't even believe in this court they run to? Why is it so?
Because the politicians, they have their ways. They believe that they can scheme their way to attain whatever they want to attain. And in that process, they don't normally like to follow the due process. What causes dispute within the political party, if not for somebody fail to follow the due process? And that is what we know about politicians. It's so simple. You come to a political party, the right things to do is to ensure that everyone has his or her rights protected. Once you are subscribed to a particular political party, that political party will have constitution that guides the affairs of that party. But people would like to put the constitution aside. They want to follow. And it's so simple. We have many desperate politicians within political party. They just want to establish their interest over and above majority. And the essence of the democracy is that the majority will always have their way. They don't have this spirit of sportsmanship at all. If you lose, you lose. Abide with the rules and regulations. But immediately they lose out, they begin to look another way round. They are burdening our court with all these useless things.
Let's not use the word useless so that we don't get fined. But basically, let's look at how far will the PDP go in resolving the issues. Do you think that PDP will be able to resolve their issues?
Well, if they can compromise their positions.
How would they compromise?
This is it.
The Minister of FCT is supporting the ruling party.
Yes, that is what I'm saying, compromise.
Okay.
So both parties needs to reach compromise and then be patriotic enough to see if they truly love our society. The next thing for them is to, sit down. Because it's not about party that wins. It's about the society they want to lead. They've already ignore and neglect the society they preach they are leading. They are now protecting the self-interest. Whether you support ruling party, that is not is not for the benefit of the society. It's benefit of individual. What position will be accrued to me in the next dispensation? And that is what they are fighting for. Ordinarily, if truly they are Democrats, if truly they are patriotic, if truly they love the society, if truly they want to live, they want to serve people, I think both passions can come together.
So you've spoken earlier, you said the Supreme Court brought democratic justice, but democratic order.
Restore this democratic order.
Restored it. But looking at the way things have been going, it's as if we have the judiciary aspect of the country very much involved in issues post-election, and now, after election. But now we're having them pre-election.
Yes.
They're deciding a lot of things. How is it good for the democratic situation?
Yes, because it's a matter of rights. And then it's a matter of our constitution. And that is what our electoral law says. There are a lot of pre-elections matter they have to be dealt with. You always have grievances here and there. You understand? It's only that we are talking about political party. It happens within several organizations. You understand? NGOs, all these associations. You will remember what happened to this NWRT. You know that.
NURCW.
NIW. You can understand that a lot of things happens with even among the professionals, professional bodies. We have all these agitations. It's a normal thing. Dispute is a normal thing, and that is why we have. It's only that because it's so the politics is what every one of us are looking at, and that is why it's so well pronounced when come to issue of maybe political parties approaching court and all the like. Now, it is within our law for judiciary to take charge. Anybody, even no matter how your case is, whether genuine or not, you have to you have to approach court to ventilate your grievances, and that is reason for court. And the court constitution has empowered them to preside over such matter. And then it's now for the court now to determine whether whatever brought before it is genuine or not. So pre-election matter is within the confines of our law.
But looking at democracy, being
yes,
a decision, we're supposed to decide. When you're not bringing this matter to the courts and
you have
maybe
to.
one person,
You know
judges,
that everybody in our society here is Oga. Everybody wants to, and that is the problem. You understand? We have not matured. Our democracy, our own politics is not mature to that extent, by which we can resolve a lot of crisis, a lot of dispute within the political party, and that is why individuals would like to go to court to at least ventilate their grievance. In most cases, we have grievance, we have dispute, and that is for the court to determine. And there is nothing wrong in having pre-election matters, and there is nothing wrong in having post-election matters.
Okay, let's quickly look at it. I was surprised this morning when I read in the Nigerian Tribune that your party is pegging presidential form to 50 million. And I don't know where we're going.
50 million or 100 million?
100.
Oh, sorry, 100 million.
100.
And governorship. I think the governorship is 50 million.
Yes.
I mean, it means that your party, being an opposition party, does not want an ordinary man to contest election.
Because
I mean, what is this 100 million actually meant for? What is the 50 million meant for? You charge somebody 100 million naira form, he has not even started campaign, he has not printed his posters. I mean, why will he not get there and not want to serve the people?
Well, that is what is available in the political space now. If you say you are the major opposition party, definitely you want to do things in order to rival the ruling party. So ruling party also pegged their own nomination form fee at 100 million. So, and then to become the president of Nigeria is not just a tea party. It's you have to be financially.
No, the point is, if it's about competing with the ruling party, then it's not about serving the people. It is not about humanity anymore. It is not about being an opposition that will be a voice for the people. And how do you think Nigerians will have confidence in your party?
And definitely Nigeria will have confidence in our party.
And begin to doubt it.
No,
because if you are tolling the part of the ruling party, then I mean, you are then the same thing.
See, when the Nigeria politics is for, let me say, anyone that will contest for anything within the Nigeria political space. It's not a small...
It means I cannot contest election.
You can contest election.
I mean, where will I get 100 million naira from?
No, you can't contest the presidential election, but you can contest...
Okay, in my room, in my house. Can you imagine?
No. We have a local government state
for how
assembly.
much?
Now, the problem we have is this. We so much concentrate because the way our society and our politics is structured. Ordinarily, the focus should be on local government and state assembly, local government elected officers, because that is where the bulk of work if you want if you want a development within a society, those are the two area and that people should concentrate on. But because all focus is at the center, that is why you find it so, even in America, the problem we have in this country is this. In America, the society will contribute money for you in order to meet up with your election expenses and some other things. You remember during
The race funds.
Yes, the race fund. During the Barack Obama, $1 across. It amounts to a lot of millions of dollars. But because our society is so indifferent, rather than contribute to fund their preferred candidates, they would rather wait to receive from such person. It's not the fault of the politician, it's the fault of the society, the electorate.
No, rather, I would blame the political party.
In what manner?
For pegging the form at a cost
This
that
is
people
not.
The
cannot
judiciary for
afford.
not
It
checking
is,
that.
it is
No,
not.
it might not be the oversight function, but
It is not. It is not. It is functions of the society. I want to sincerely tell you, I'm a member of society. I'm a citizen of this country.
Burst.
Yes, I come out from one family.
So it's about the highest bidder, right?
It's not about highest bidder. It's about demand the society is placing. Let me say this. When we started, putting ADC together, immediately you approach people. What people will be telling you, what do you bring for us? If you don't give us something, we won't vote for you. Then, political party is not a business organization that trades and having profit. The political party will lean on its members in order to fulfill all its obligations. All expenses, paid salaries, then all this money, the only way, and how many members of political party pay is annual due. And that is the pure analysis we need to understand. How many?
So what everybody should pay would now be put on one person who will end up getting there and doing his bidding
Now,
because, he won't listen to the voice
Now,
of the people.
Then if political party has no resources to prosecute what have you, and to speak with the society, that lay a heavy demand on the political party. Go anywhere, go out there now. Say you want to contest for anything, or you bring your candidate to the end. Then, you see, the people will be demanding from you. They say, well, let's eat what we want to eat now. And that has necessitated, that has prompted the political party at least to now invite the money bag, people that can put money to run the affairs of the party. And where the society, that is a gap. Because it's supposed to be the society that dictates what they want. I've never seen where society in our own society here sponsor a candidate. Rather than sponsoring candidates, they will demand him from somebody you yourself know that cannot win an election. They will still continue to take something from such a fellow.
All right, so ADC is in talks with LP, NNPP, SDP for 2027 merger. Can a party in a leadership crisis like this, can they actually sign an MOU? And how are we supposed to trust when they're having battle within themselves? How are we supposed to trust them and give them out?
We don't have battle, we don't have crisis.
The house is divided.
The house is not divided. House is not divided. ADC is very solid. The one thing for the outsider may see it from that perspective, but it's quite different within. What happened within is ability to set things record straight. When you are talking about Gombegala is just fighting a one-man show. Because if you want to create a version, I think you should have some of the state chairmen with you, of which he has none. You should have some of the national officer or what have you with you, of which he has none. Now, so he only fights a lost battle if court will do the needful, because even by what he put before the court, he has no that right by the constitutions of the ADC. Even if somebody resign, it should not be his turn, because in ADC we have our constitution stated that if the national chairman is not available, then the deputy national chairman politics should take over. So Balagombe is not deputy national chairman politics. So far from that, you only want to orchestrate problem, maybe for political reasons. I mean, for pecuniary gain.
Do you think he's being sponsored by maybe
Definitely.
the main ruling party?
Definitely. You know that we will always have a willing tools within several organizations. Even among the disciple of Jesus Christ, we have a willing tools there. What Jesus Christ has done wrong, that Judas, we always have Judas around. So that does not create any crisis at all. So we don't have such a divided. Now, because the other case we have the court is only that the state chairmen are demanding for a democratic order, a constitutional order, that look, you national, you should know your boundary. This is your boundary. This is our boundary. You should not usurp our own functions. And the court has set that's record straight. So we've restored the constitutional order. There's no crisis in that. There is no dispute in that. Our house is not divided. Okay. Anyone that does not want to be in ADC can leave.
Okay, let's say with the current situation in your party now, in the coming days, what are the plans with the David Mark-led executive?
The plan has already set out. I think by yesterday, the party has rolled out the guidelines and timetable for primary elections and some other activities. So some of the activities that will take place is we're going to have, at least by today. Today is 4th or 5th. At least the form started selling now, and between now and 10th of May, that is when every aspirant will buy their forms, and then thereafter the screening will follow, and after the screening, then the elections will take place, whether consensus or direct elections, and that is so. By 26th of May, the party will hold NEC meeting, National Executive Committee meeting. Thereafter, there will be a special convention, and so it shows that there is no space again to waste time. By God's grace, before the end of closed window, before the window for submission is closed, then we must have already done with our primaries and submit the list of all our candidates to the INEC, and that is all.
Okay, quite unfortunate. Some strong politician under 12 hours. I will purposely use that 12 hours, left your party.
Yes.
And you're the main opposition
Definitely.
party. They left your party and they went to NDC. I won't imagine someone leaving your party as the major opposition for NDC. Yes, I'd like you to speak on that first.
Well, let me say this. We still remain the major opposition party, whether somebody left or not. You see, individual has their own aspiration. And when you know that your aspiration could not be met within the space you have, definitely you have absolute rights under the law to move to elsewhere. And it's for now for the public and society to judge in that regard. So there is nothing bad in that for anyone to leave. To leave our political party.
Now, let's come to your state. Your party in your state.
Yes.
Even an Accord party seems to be more vibrant than your party in your state.
Not at all.
I mean, your party is not the main opposition in Oyo State.
We are the main opposition in your state.
You have the largest in the House of Assembly.
Accord is not there in the
By popularity, Accord is leading your party.
No. When you are talking about none of the party except for APC that has a member in the state assembly. By definitions of a major.
How many House of Assembly members do you have?
That is what I'm saying. That none of opposition parties, except for APC.
Which means that APC is stronger than your party.
It's not that APC is stronger. Even
we have big whips. Who are those in your party that are strong?
APC is
no, let's come to look at the people in your party that are strong.
You see, when you are talking about politics in particular states, you cannot judge politics by individual. You judge politics by the acceptability of that political party within the space of that society. And that is what we have seen in Oyo State. ADC is more popular, well accepted by the people of Oyo State.
Tell us, who are those in your party that makes it popular?
Of course, it's not necessary that we have a lot of people there.
Or your party is waiting for some fallout?
No, not for fallout. By now, when you look at the compositions of our political party, and that is why we want to defend. You see, when you ask of individual leaving the party at the national level, we just play down on the seriousness of that. You know why? Because we don't emphasize individual, we emphasize the structure. If you want to talk about party that has a solid structure in Oyo State today, is ADC, cut across every ward, every unit. And that is why you can see that many people are running. Let me say this. All the political parties you are thinking you are looking at, they have their legs within our political party.
How?
Accord, APC, PDP, you understand? The majority of them have even registered as a member of ADC.
Okay, and they don't want us to know?
Because they have their reasons. But we know that each time we hold any public functions, you can see the attendance. And go anywhere. If you are on the media chat, you see how people will call in. They will be begging that ADC, you are the next party we are looking at.
Don't let them deceive you.
No, it's not about deception. Because we have gone around. This is the first political party in Oyo State that tore all the 14 federal constituencies. Thereafter, we had our senatorial unfailings across the 3 senatorial districts. None of the political party has done that, even the ruling party in power. In order to reawaken the consciousness of people of Oyo State to see that there is better alternative. And we appreciate all other people, all the people of Oyo State who have been encouraging us. And then, let me even tell you this. As last count, most people that are not even in one political party or the other before, we count about 25,000 of them as joined the political party. Many retirees, some that are just left the services, and some other guys that are not in politics before. They said if they want to start politics, they want to start from ADC. You know that we have bulk of the obedience movement in Oyo State within the ADC.
But they have left. Their leader
has left,
so they are going to follow.
They have not, and that is what, in fact, that is the understanding we had initially when they were coming. They said,
that if they come, they are not going to leave.
They are not going to leave.
But their leader has
It doesn't matter.
Does it mean you didn't have that agreement with their leader?
No. You see, when you will see a lot of releases that will come out. In fact, I spoke with their coordinator in Oyo State. He said they are very sad, but we should not worry. They will have another meeting. The reason they want to have meeting with us is that immediately their leader left, maybe we'll begin to ostracize them, to remove them from all the position we have put there. I said, no. Since you are going to remain with us, individual differences is your leader may leave the party. If you are still with us, then you are covered as a member of the party. So those are the things. Many people will leave the party, but the supporters may not leave.
That would be a different
exactly.
That would be a different politics.
It's not a
playing
different
out in your state. If that really
when Peter Obi was in Labour, he left Labour. Some of Obedient movement, they didn't leave.
Why? Does it mean Obi has the personality issues? Is that what you're saying?
No,
but they are not loyal.
You know,
they're not loyal.
Not that they are not loyal. You understand? Some of them has a kind of maybe what politics need to look like. It's not about jumping from one political party to the other. Even some of them told me that what they want is better Nigeria. If they want better Nigeria, it's not about ambition. It's about how we can pull our resources together with good people that we believe. And that is why, in fact, I met one of the guy, he is currently the spokesperson of Labour in Oyo State. He said, no, come rain, come shine. They still remain with Labour. Because the the principle and the philosophy, the ideology they carry is beyond Peter Obi himself. Because he said that Peter Obi is not the founder of Obedient movement. You understand? He's not the founder of Obedient movement, but they just built that movement around him because they believe some of his programs. But when he left Labour, that does not mean they will leave Labour. Even before he joined ADC, most of the Obedience movement members have been in ADC.
But let's look at it from the point of the voters, not the party members. Some people are like loyal followers of Obi. So now that he's leaving ADC, is there like a shaking?
No. You see, that was supposed to have in the politics. The politics should not be determined by the members of a political party. In Israel, in a civilized democracy, you don't have more than, especially in UK, this conservative Labour, you don't have more than 200,000 members. And then they are winning elections. You know why? Because the society is so developed, the society is so civilized, politically civilized, to determine which party they want to vote for, not individual. I don't know whether you get that. They look at the program of each political party, ideology of each political party to vote, not individual. Any political party can put anybody forward. What concerns them is that this political party will be able to meet their aspirations, and that is how they vote. But here, we rather welcome billions of people into political party before you can think that, you are a political party. No. Political party members should be few. Society should determine.
But unfortunately,
why would we determine when we don't know?
Yes.
When we don't know the party and its members.
Because we don't have politics of ideology in Nigeria. None of political parties can come up with a clear ideology. I always say this. Yes, I'm a member of a political party, but I'm a Nigerian who need change, who want better country. And to be told, ideology, that is why it's very easy for different an individual to move from one political party. If your aspiration is not met here, then you jump to another one. And that is why that's what causes conflicts. You know that when you put two negative things, two things together that are not the same, there will be conflict. You can't find a conservative moving to progressive in all the developed democracy. In US, for instance, if you are a Republican, hardly you will find a Republican, defect to a Democrat. It's not happen. That cannot happen, even in UK. But we have not yet developed to that level. People have just do forum shopping around in order to protect their interest. And that is what we have. Ordinarily, we are supposed to have a minimum political party members rather than have billions of them. And that is That is the problem we have in this country. And we continue to face with this kind of controversies if our political structure and our political system is not well structured, at least to involve ideology, whereby when I believe in certain things, I will look for people that believe the same thing together, and then we grew up together. Even my family member that believe that, we continue to follow suit.
Okay, Barrister, let's quickly go on this break. We're going on a short break. When we come back, we'll go back to the judiciary and look at the role the judiciary is playing, have been playing, and will continue to play in our political space. Stay with us, don't go away. It's still AM120. All right, welcome back. It's still AM120 on the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. We still have our guest with us here, our Barrister Adebimpe Adelowo, always the Publicity Secretary for ADC in Oyo State Esquire. Thank you very much for still staying with us. All right, before we went on the break, I said we're still coming back to look at the judiciary in Nigeria. It's seemed like it has become a norm, despite having laws, that even after elections, the court determines who wins election, not the people, not by vote anymore. And unfortunately, we have lost total confidence in the so-called independence in court, National Electoral Commission. And even if you look at the OCEC in the state, people don't even have confidence. They know there is a ruling party. Once they just get there, they say they have conducted their election and they carry all the seats, you know. So this has become a trend. And is this how our democracy will continue to develop?
Very unfortunate that we have to resort to courts before we determine the actual winner of every election. The problem arose from the nature, the quality of individual we have at the National Assemblies. And that is where the problem comes. Because we always make law with loopholes. Yes, we always make law with loopholes. That's very easy for individuals to go and challenge one thing or the other at the court. So, and if we have such law that cannot curb our excesses, so definitely we will find ourselves in such situation. We can also, apart from our the qualities of legislative members we have, that also boils down to the quality of personnel we have at judiciary, because it seems that even judiciary in a way has done more havoc than any other person. Because even if legislators makes a bad law, it's for the judiciary to look at it critically and see how we can set the record straight and make it a workable law that will sustain our society and our democratic process. But in this instance, we have a lot of things that happen. And what really what is the causes of this, all this? It is because of we don't have, yes, we say we have independent judiciary, but that is on paper. We don't have that, that independence within the judiciary, because if the executive is appointing the judges, then what do you expect? Who paid the pipers? Dictate the terms. Of course, many people, many personnel that became judge today, they lobby several politicians who gave them recommendation before they can become judges. Then, who do you think such judges will serve?
Should judges even lobby in the first instance?
That is what I'm saying.
I'm asking as a legal expert.
Elsewhere, before you can become a judge, there is a special procedure, special process to that. So you don't just, now for instance, I've been a lawyer for quite some times now, and then I've mixed up with the society. You understand, I have my clients, I have friends, a lot of things like that. Do you think with the kind of the setup we have, then if I pick interest to go to bench, then I become a judge, what do you think will happen? Before, what I know about judge don't familiarize, they do not even socialize at all. But nowadays, you'll find them dancing before the church, dancing in the parties, spraying money and some other things, which is even against the ethics. But who is holding them responsible?
Who should hold them responsible?
Of course, the NJC is supposed to hold them responsible, but who is the head of that agency?